So let's talk about heat acclimation and how going into things like the sauna may actually improve athletic performance. So there's this term called hormesis, where if you're exposed to a stress, that you actually are stronger the next time you are exposed to that stress. So essentially, becoming heat acclimated, essentially going into, let's say, a sauna for every single day for like 10 days straight, and becoming adapted to the heat, or exercising in the heat for about 10 to 15 days, can basically induce heat acclimation, where performance is actually improved not just in the heat, but even in cool environments. Now, if you do it correctly, there can be dramatic improvements in performance. But if you do it incorrectly, you can actually reduce performance. So it comes down to the people who are able to boost their plasma volume the most with heat acclimation have the best increases in performance. And the people obviously who have the reductions in plasma volume because they've induced dehydration, because they're not adequately bringing back salt and fluid, have the largest reduction in performance with heat acclimation. So it seems that people who are highly trained individuals don't actually have to exercise in the heat to get a lot of these increases in performance, whether it be during competition in the heat or if it's in a cool environment. Whereas people who are not highly trained, it does seem to be very important to actually exercise in the heat to then get those increases in performance. So essentially, if you're someone who's like a highly trained individual, there's more evidence showing that simply, let's say, going into the sauna daily for 10 to 15 days will lead to an increase in performance that can last typically about 2 weeks after stopping the sauna sessions, as long as physical activity is maintained. So, in other words, the benefits of heat acclimation don't rapidly fall off if you maintain physical activity and if you do heat acclimation correctly. So the best way to induce heat acclimation is to maintain a target heart rate. And so as you slowly stress yourself out, let's say in a sauna or exercising in the heat, the increase in heart rate becomes less and less. So you have to induce either higher heat or longer duration over the course of those 2 weeks, because your body is becoming adapted to the heat and it's less of a stress. So you need to sort of maintain that stress in order to benefit from heat acclimation. So this is just one way to boost plasma volume if it's done correctly. Now, the downside is we also lose many trace minerals through sweat. We don't just lose salt. We lose things like selenium, iodine, copper, chromium. I discussed this in the mineral fix and give a table of like how much is actually lost per hour. So it's important too that if you're sweating, you understand that you sweat out more than just salt and fluid. You sweat out numerous trace minerals in clinically significant amounts. So there are certain protocols on how to do heat acclimation, depending on if the person is highly trained or not. But this is just one additional tool in the kit that can potentially increase performance.